The focus of this presentation is the eViterbo platform, which is being developed in the TechNet Empire, which is an ongoing research project at Nova University in Lisbon, Portugal. Our aim is to look at the agents of the colonial dispositive, experts and institutions throughout time and space in order to understand how the techno-scientific networks connected to the transformation of the built environment were created and transformed across the Portuguese Empire. So what you are seeing is actually the result of our research at the end. Our starting points were two essential 19th century resources that have never been updated and that are until now essential resources. In addition, these two works have a common point: the use of biography of people by Sousa Viterbo and of institutions by Ribeiro. So one of the main outputs of the project was, from its proposal, the online availability of content related to the built environment from these essential sources, expanded with the now available knowledge and with the original research done in the scope of the project to address some identified gaps of information. With this in mind, we picked up eViterbo, which had been created in 2017 as a collaborative tool for the art research group of SHAN. Thought as an online encyclopedia that would aggregate and enhance points of connection between our multiple researches. eViterbo uses Wikimedia software, having a similar image and structure as the Wikipedia. This image, or way to navigate and work, was maintained as we thought it would turn the access easier to its users. eViterbo has different types of pages with different characteristics. On the people and institution pages that you are seeing right now, qualitative and quantitative data go side by side. The written data works like the traditional encyclopedia, and the info boxes show the structured data, which is running with Wikibase. Other pages are just aggregators of information through categories or simple pages without structured data, which is the case of the glossary where we actually started. The academic environment where it was created dictated that it was thought with a controlled nature, with contributions passing through a peer review process and with identifiers that would allow the contributions to be recognized. That means identified authorships, ISBNs, and digital object identifiers for each page. And this is why we decided to do a standalone platform and not put our content on Wikipedia, for instance. Nevertheless, our aim was to have a tool that would allow collaborative work and to share the structured data in an open, sustainable way. Linking data to other existing websites instead of repeating the information was also part of the initial plan. So after an initial experiment attempt in 2017 with no financial support, of which you are seeing an image of our brainstorm of connections, we submitted TechNet Empire for funding, and this funding finally came in mid 2019. So Wikibase was not set up from the beginning in eViterbo, and probably if it would have been, what I'm going to say now would be very different. And only at the end of 2019, when we realized we had a huge problem with the curation of data, we started to look for a solution. And the use of Wikibase and the link with Wikidata and not DBpedia, as it was thought at the beginning in the project, and the possibility to connect to a bigger ecosystem of linked data sounded like a great solution. Also, some of our items already existed on Wikidata and on many places elsewhere. So linking to this existing content seemed to be the right thing to do. So we set out Wikibase statements based on the former model we were using, and only later did we try to find the equivalents on Wikidata. Some were quite easy, some not, and others simply don't exist. So we will have to create them. It is not on the project aim to insert into Wikidata tons of new data. We will input a relative small amount of data, something like 3,000 people, 150 institutions, and an unknown number of related items like professions, locations, activities. But our aim is to improve general quality of items, descriptions with which we are working now. So finally, we are still trying to fix some bugs. The complexity of working with Wikibase or with Wikimedia software was a little bit undermined by the technical part of the team. Things take way more time than planned, and there are still many things to be fixed on the platform. That are things that we didn't thought at the beginning, and are trying to figure out now what to do, such as references that are not on Wikibase, but were thought from the beginning in the text pages and are and is quite a big volume of information. We are starting to collaborate with Wikimedia Portugal and hope fruitful results for this future collaboration, and hope that this collaboration helps to develop the platform in all its potential. And of course, this is a work for the future, so many pages have red links. So red links will be presented in eViterbo pages, and we hope further collaboration from the community at large in the future. And that's it. I now leave some room for questions if anyone has.
Hi, Alice. I have a quick question. Would you be willing to share your slides? And maybe we can put them in the Etherpad, if that's okay with you. You're muted.
Oh, sorry, I was with the mic mute. I said yes.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't hear what you said.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I was saying that yes, I will put a link on the Etherpath until the end of the section. Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
I'm keeping an eye on the Etherpad and the chat, and I'm not seeing anything immediately pop up. But I also think it has been a very long day. So
Yes.
maybe, some people are kind of already getting a bit tired. But thank you so much, Alice, for this really interesting presentation. And I'm sorry we couldn't fit it earlier. I think it really belongs well with some of the other use case examples we saw earlier in the day, but there were so many. I think it really, this presentation captures again some of the kind of benefits, but also challenges of dealing with Wikibase. One thing I would suggest is I wonder if the technical team you're working with is part of the community, because we do have this quite vibrant community of developers, and a lot of information is being exchanged all the time. Sometimes the channels for information exchange are not very obvious. So, if you have time and want to stay with us in about 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, we'll have a meeting of the Wikibase user group community, and we'll share more information there about like channels that people can get in touch and stuff like that, because I feel like this project is super interesting. But I also maybe personally, I haven't met any of your tech team, but I don't think I've seen this project being, mentioned in the user community before. And I think it would be super nice to collaborate a bit more. And
actually, our IT team was just a master student and it just left the project. So we actually are trying to find a new one, which is kind of not being easy at the moment.
I can totally imagine that. We just had this discussion in the previous session about developer capacity, right? And this jobs board that became the chat of everyone like posting jobs that they're looking for people.
Yeah.
Can imagine.
So I really think that training and training IT professionals to work with Wikibase and other Wikimedia tools would be super important.